Whoa! What's up, folks? Welcome to the very first episode of Tales from the Archive on Handelabra Games. I'm Zach from Another Letdown Media and the Adjacent Hex podcast. I'll be your host this evening. Tales from the Archive is the show where we use the medium of Sentinels of the Multiverse, the digital game, to tell a story of some kind. Some of the tales will be from the actual Sentinel storylines, and others will be totally original or based on previous work. There will often be times where we deliberately make a play that might not make sense strategically because it contributes in some way to the narrative we've created. We will do our best to win games, but even heroes fall sometimes, and that just makes for great stories. As with all the shows on Handelabra Games channel, we believe in civil rights for everyone and in being as inclusive as possible, so any comments or activity actively working against that goal is not welcome and will not be tolerated. So, without any more delay, let's open ye olde book of the Multiverse and get this party started. So in today's adventure, we dig deep into the volumes of mystery comics, and we find Maya Montgomery alone in her office at Montgomery Industries' Megalopolis headquarters. As she puts the finishing touches on a new piece of Razor Ordnance technology, suddenly, yeah, my video is not the greatest Azershot, sorry. Oh man. I will try and fix that, sorry. As she puts the finishing touches on a new piece of Razor Ordnance technology, suddenly she hears the sound of something breaking on a floor below her. Donning her costume as the Wraith, and deciding that now is as good a time as any, she climbs out the window and rappels down the offices to below to find Pete Risk, better known as Setback, sitting rubbing his head on a pile of rubble and sprayed with a strange goop. "Oops," he says, as his partner Amanda Cohen helps him to his feet and rolls her eyes. Both Setback and Expatriette were covered in a strange green substance, and Setback reeked of something, but the Wraith, a seasoned veteran in the defense of Megalopolis, knew what they had stumbled upon. Plague Rat, back up to his old tricks undoubtedly. Without a word, Wraith leads the other two, Setback still apologizing profusely, to the elevator and uses her keycard to trigger a descent into Montgomery Industries' third sub-basement. If Plague Rat had indeed made it into the bowels of the city, it was up to them to find out why and stop him before he made a complete hash of everything the Freedom Five had worked so hard to defend. Guys, I am sorry about the frame dropping. I'm not really sure what's going on there. If you want to hold on for 1 second, I can try and fix that. I was having a little bit of trouble with the streaming software I use. Okay, I'll just do my best with what I've got. I'm really sorry about that. I'll try and fix it for next week. It's been doing that for me the last couple of times I've tried to stream. It does often get better as the stream progresses. So, sorry. Okay, so, like I said, we are traveling to Montgomery Industries' third sub-basement, and as it is Rook City Week, I decided to tackle some of the Rook City villains as what I'm doing this week. So, bear with me with the poor video quality. I will attempt to remedy that for next time. So here we are, Megalopolis, Plague Rat, and three of my favorite heroes, the Wraith, Expatriette, and Setback. So in Chapter 1 of a tale that I'm calling Crime Doesn't Pay Much, Wraith is starting out with combat stance, grappling hook, mega computer, and utility belt. These seem like the perfect things for her to leave her office with. I was kind of hoping that I could, have a Razor Ordnance in hand, since that's what I wrote into the first chapter's plot, but maybe she just dropped it on her way out the door. Expatriette is carrying Prejudice, incendiary rounds, and 2 RPG launchers. And Setback exceeds expectations, high-risk behavior, and 2 plucky breaks. Out comes the Plague Locust. Afflicted Frenzy. At the start of every turn, if that hero target is infected, some stuff happens. I guess I don't need to read everything. Okay, now, in my story, Setback and Expatriette have already taken damage from Plague Rat. They've already taken him on slightly. Evil Dice Monkey, I am also learning how to carry on a narrative while playing a game. It's going to be interesting. So everybody takes 2 as soon as they find Plague Rat in the sub-basement. As soon as Wraith turns a corner and smells the acrid stink of Plague Rat, she knew what she needed to do. Her first order of business was to try and get him out of his frenzy. And that meant targeting him with a grappling hook. She draws a card, she digs into her utility belt and finds an infrared eyepiece. And then, to prepare for the next round of combat, ducks into the shadows. Meanwhile, Expatriette decides the best course of action is just to fire for effect. Loading Prejudice, or cocking Prejudice, she takes aim and shoots directly at Plague Rat's face. Setback, feeling not very unlucky at this moment, bends over to examine some of Plague Rat's droppings. In a plucky break, he happens to regain some health. Seizing the opportunity, he tackles Plague Rat directly right off the edge of the sewer he's teetering on. But meanwhile, deals himself damage as well. Distracted by a hole in the ground caused by the last outbreak of Plague Rat, the monorail driver in Megalopolis takes a wrong turn and steers right off the edge. Plague Rat, meanwhile, once again attacks all the heroes and uses that principle to gain himself some health back. Anticipating a potential attack on Megalopolis, Wraith reaches into a wall safe in the sub-basement of Montgomery Industries and dons her utility belt. Knowing that won't be as much help, she once again ducks into the shadows. John, that would have been Baron Blade, but that's another story for another day. I'm actually going to write that down in my handy-dandy book. Seizing the opportunity to mitigate the monorail disaster, Expatriette aims and launches an RPG at the plummeting monorail to try and get it to stop. The affected blast deals damage to both Plague Rat and the Plague Locust. She then turns around and once again takes aim at Plague Rat himself. In a surprising move, Setback manages to find himself incredibly lucky and deal some damage to both targets in play. However, he also damages his comrade in the process. Noticing the kerfuffle underground, the police show up on the scene, immediately attempting to shoot their sidearms at Plague Rat to no effect. Wraith equips her infrared eyepiece and uses it to wear down Plague Rat's deck, or Plague Rat's ability. In addition, she finds in her wall safe 2 of her old inventions that could possibly come in handy in the future. Making use of her one last RPG shot, Expatriette takes aim at Plague Rat and tries to find a way to mitigate some of the damage he's doing. Nothing bad can happen from exploding the monorail. Well, nothing bad can happen from exploding anything! Setback once again finds an opening against the wall and shoves Plague Rat recklessly into the wall. But runs in and bumps his head on a light fixture nearby. He takes another risk and finds that things are looking up. However, who knows what happens when the environment takes effect. Oh no, he didn't. This time, the cramped quarters of the sewer, along with some specialty ammo that they got from a scientist friend of theirs, allows the police to actually deal some damage to Plague Rat. However, Plague Rat returns with a noxious bite that gets... there we go. That gets Wraith right in the shoulder. Setback finally looks up and notices that the noxious stench that had plagued him before they had left Montgomery Industries is starting to cloud his vision. Things are starting to look not so good for our heroes. Wraith quickly cobbles together some of the things she found in her storage locker. Finding some familiar and fantastic weaponry. Now built up and ready for a big swing, Wraith directs her familiar Razor Ordnance directly at Plague Rat. She follows up with several... Yeah, me too, Lord Flashfire. Oh, don't worry, JZC. The coffee and donuts are coming. The throwing knives go in different directions and impact both the nest and Plague Rat himself. Taking this opportunity, Expatriette loads incendiary rounds into Prejudice and takes aim once again at Plague Rat. The infection begins to wear on Setback. Distracted by the dizziness, Setback steps backward and bumps into Wraith, his head knocking into her infrared eyepiece. Although not directly affected, Wraith's eyepiece shatters, but Setback manages to distract Plague Rat long enough. The monorail finally breaks free of its mooring, caused by the RPG explosion, and begins tumbling again. Oh, Setback's in trouble. Oh my god. Well, this got ugly real fast. Wraith was beginning to notice that things are starting to get out of hand here. But try as she might, she still had a few tricks up her sleeve. She takes aim and fires again. Well, kids, this story definitely got a little out of hand very quickly. But so this may change the direction that I'd planned for Chapter 2. But that's all right. I'm very okay with that. Picking up some lightning rounds, she finds Expatriette takes aim once again and tries desperately to hit Plague Rat. The shock rounds detonate and damage both the monorail and Plague Rat himself. Oh dear. Well, Setback is still alive. Nope, he's not. There it is. Yes, that would be correct, Lord Flashfire. It will be an impromptu invention. Alright, so... guess. Nope, that's not going to do it completely. So we'll attack him. Buy some cookies are right here, ready to rock and roll. Of course, Girl Scout Cookies not a sponsor. Just, you know. Oh dear. Nope, that one. Plague Rat flips over. The stink around Plague Rat begins to get worse. And although barely intact, Wraith and Expatriette are both nervous for their very lives. Yeah, my students came through and managed to get me cookies for my stream. That's why I love them. And over goes Wraith. This got ugly, folks. Well. And there we go. In a last-ditch effort, Expatriette takes aim with her tactical shotgun and tries desperately to hit Plague Rat, but to no avail. Or to little avail. Setback crawls over and hands his friend some more ammo. She takes aim again. Oh, this got interesting. And that'll do it, folks. Chapter 1, unfortunately for our heroes, went south quickly. Plague Rat found his way through the streets and manages to... through the sewers and manages to make his way into Freedom Tower. Home of the Freedom Five. So here we are in Chapter 2. And now Chapter 2 had the Heroes 1, which is, of course, what I planned for, had the heroes taking on, or finding their way to Rook City and taking on Matriarch. However, since that didn't happen, Plague Rat finds his way to Freedom Tower and will end up taking on the Freedom Five. My original idea for this series was unpowered heroes investigating crime, but that could not. So it looks like it's going to be powered heroes taking on crime, and of course those powered heroes will be very familiar to many of you. Wraith is, of course, incapacitated, so she will not be participating. She will be replaced by Unity. I guess I'll cut back to the game. And we're going to bring in Absolute Zero and Bunker. At Freedom Tower. No worse for wear. Yeah, that's exactly what it's like. This is a very weird feeling. Now that, like, of course, this is the first time that I've done this particular stream, so it means like next time I need to actually plan both story threads, which it's going to take a little bit more work on my part, which I'm okay with. This of course is a learning experience. So yeah, let's see what happens when Plague Rat invades Freedom Tower. We find our heroes circling around a grill, where Legacy is just preparing some burgers. Absolute Zero, of course, unhappy with the heat, sits alone by himself. Bunker is tuning up his latest additions to his suit, and Tachyon is eating as fast as she can possibly eat. Unity is tinkering with some things that she found in Tachyon's lab, and Meredith doesn't seem to mind all that much. When all of a sudden, a snarling is heard from over the fence. Legacy turns quickly to see what it was. So Legacy has a Flying Smash, Heroic Interception, Lead from the Front, and Motivational Charge. Absolute Zero has Cold Snap, Modular Realignment, Sub-Zero Atmosphere, and Thermal Shockwave. Bunker, Flat Cannon, Gatling Gun, Maintenance Unit, and Recharge Mode. Tachyon has Fleet of Foot, Lightning Reflexes, and Pushing the Limits, and Synaptic Interruption. And Unity has Brainstorm, Inspired Repair, Supply Crate, and Swiftbot. Let's see what happens. Out comes the Plague Locust. And an infection, of course. Taking one step too close to Tachyon, she gets scratched in the arm. To Plague Rat, Tachyon gets scratched in the arm. She immediately starts to lose speed as her brain gets foggy. Noticing that something's wrong, Legacy immediately takes to the skies and soars back down at top speed, damaging both Plague Rat and his nest. Tossing a burger to everyone, he immediately says, "Here, take this. It'll imbue you with strength." Preparing for a cold snap, Absolute Zero. Taken by surprise, Absolute Zero has barely any time, but manages to get off a cold snap. Starting, of course, in recharge mode, Bunker, well, he's in recharge mode. He doesn't get to do anything yet. It'll take Tyler a minute to get the Bunker suit powered up. Still dashing around, Tachyon manages to get to alert everybody and allow them to prepare for an extra turn of combat. Yes, the burgers taste like justice and ketchup. I love it. This one's a little more fun because I actually get to, consider the right plays in some cases. Where the last one is just pure story. Thinking to herself, there must be the correct way to deal with this. Unity begins to cobble together some bots, but also notices that taking out the nest would help before taking out Plague Rat. Did I play it? Yeah, I did. Whoops. Ice and ketchup. Yeah, you're right. That doesn't sound particularly good. Although, frozen... I wonder what you could use frozen ketchup for. Yes, he probably has. I mean, a guy has got to eat, right? Oh, things are already looking bad for the Freedom 5. Well, Freedom 4 plus 4 of the Freedom 5 plus Unity. I guess not horrible. Calling out to Legacy, Unity says, "Destroy the nest!" Legacy looks up and immediately knows what to do. He swings to the fences, right at the nest where Plaguerat has collected piles of garbage. Relaying the message to everybody, the team feels bolstered. Absolute Zero destroys the nest, and then immediately turns his attack on Plaguerat. He tunes the gauntlets on his hands, and immediately prepares for another cold snap. Finally feeling ready, the bunker suit is activated. Tyler powers up the flak cannon, takes aim, and fires for effect. Meredith continues running up and down the side of the building, gaining speed. Unity ducks inside, finds a supply crate, and busts it open. Finding the correct components within, and summons her favorite bot, the Robot Raptor, Dinobot, or Mr. Chomps to you. Dinobot immediately sees the trouble and devours Plaguerat's leg and clamps on for dear life as Plaguerat snarls and waves wildly around. Oops. Unity's stealth bot gets in the way and absorbs the damage, but finds itself strangely unaffected. still flipping burgers at the grill. Plague Rat smells the burgers cooking on the grill. Legacy, still with his with his spatula in hand, smashes Plague Rat in the snout. Plague Rat snarls and backs off. Temporarily, of course. Aha, there's an inspiring presence. That seems good. More burgers. Tyler manages to get to online his null point calibration unit. And recover some of the damage to his suit. Oh, Absolute Zero, sorry. I think I said Tyler there. Tyler Vance is, of course, Bunker. That was odd. Not honestly sure what that sound problem was there. Bunker may use an extra power. Yay! What do we got? Tyler equips the Gatling gun and once again takes aim with the flak cannon, aiming to deal as much damage as possible to the infernal Plague Rat. How dare he disrupt the Freedom 5 barbecue? Oh, shoot. Wow, what? That was... I don't know. That was odd. My apologies. I have to back up because I clicked something by accident. Yay. Look at me go. Getting cards in the bin, I guess. Sure. Wow, the burst cards are just not coming for Tachyon today. Anywho. Noticing the damage to Stealthbot, Unity quickly inspires them to repair themselves. She then uses some scrap metal, left over from the repair, to bring forth a turret bot, emulating the bada booms brought on from Bunker, and potentially distracting Plague Rat, or confusing him at least. inspiring the team with another round of burgers, and yelling, "America!" Legacy encourages the team to fight on. Yikes. Alright. Oh, gross. I can't even make a story out of that. Hold on. I'm going to back up because I can't make a story out of that. There was no strategic nor story reason to destroy the infection. The infection is actually just a plot mover, indicating that Tachyon is becoming more and more fatigued. Whoa, no, gosh darn it. This is what I get for playing way too fast. Let's try this a third time. Noticing that he could take out, or he could slow Plague Rat down, he, Absolute Zero directs a blast of ice straight at Plague Rat's feet. But could do nothing to stop the onslaught of Tachyon's. Yeah, I know, right? Thank you, Dice Monkey. Could do nothing for the poison afflicting Tachyon. Tyler once again lines up for his shot and puts the bunker suit into turret mode. He lines up the flak cannon, winds, and with a loud bada shots impact on Plague Rat's exposed flesh. Tachyon slides to a stop just outside the reach of Plague Rat, and pokes him under the armpit hard with one pinky. He winces with pain and becomes distracted. Dashing back into her office, she collects some important belongings and gets ready for another punch. Unity's turret bot takes aim just as his counterpart Bunker did, and attacks with great vigor. Unity takes the opportunity to erect a construction pylon, and then uses it to construct a brace of bee-bots. Because everyone knows that rats are allergic to bee stings. Plague Rat finds a weak point in the wall and begins to rip through. That is a fantastic limerick, Lord Flashfire. And I'm starting to hear that foolish sound problem again. I'm really not sure what's going on. That's extremely strange. I wonder if I've just got too much open. Hang on. Oh, wow. Now you guys can see that. Well, you know what I've been doing. My bad. Yes, I was drawing Plague Rat during Lou Dolphin's stream the other night. And there's the chat back. Okay, sorry about that. This is really odd about the sound. I'm not sure what's going on here. Yeah, let's go with that. Legacy's favorite radio seems broken. In between games, I'll restart the game. Noting that he can exploit a weak point. Legacy screams, "Get him!" at the top of his lungs, and motivates the team to charge forward. He pounds Plague Rat with as much oomph as he can muster, everything the burgers gave him. For everyone knows that Legacy burgers are inspiring burgers. Winding up for one final blow. Absolute Zero's Cold Snap takes Plague Rat to task and freezes him in a pile of shriveling mass. Carting Plague Rat off to jail, our heroes return to their feast, victorious for now. So I'm going to go ahead and quickly restart the app. I honestly have no clue what's going on right now with the sound. Give me just 1 second. I don't know. Like, my microphone seems to be working okay. And my computer's making noise, so let's just give it a try. Start the app up again. I'm really not sure why we're having so many technical difficulties tonight. Aha! There we go, we have sound again. Okay. The Freedom Five returns to their feast, when all of a sudden, a bedraggled Wraith appears. Uh-oh. Okay. and describes her encounter with Plague Rat in the sewers below Montgomery Industries. Setback stumbles up behind her and explains that he and Expatriette have tracked Plague Rat all the way from Rook City, where their current hideaway / bunker is. Not to be confused, of course, with the hero. The Freedom Five agreed to help explore, or to help explain why Plague Rat is terrorizing the town again. Several of them agree to stay home and not Plague Rat this time, and make some well-needed repairs to Freedom Tower. However, the strongest of them agree to explore Rook City and find out what Plague Rat was doing there in the first place, or what Plague Rat was doing out of prison in the first place. So our heroes are going to travel to Rook City, as it is, of course, Rook City Week on the Sentinels streams on Handelabra Games. Again, originally my plan was to have our 3 main take care of it, but Expatriette is going to go because it is, after all, her home-ish. Wraith will certainly tag along after receiving some well-needed, legacy burgers, let's be honest here. Legacy will absolutely travel along. Tachyon's in. And not trusting and actually, yeah, that's probably good. On the way, however, they were stopped as they arrived within the walls of Rook City. A flock of crows, out of nowhere, flew from black into the skies, and a strange, although surprisingly young, cackle was heard over the din of... There's an adjective there that I'm forgetting. Of flapping wings. It was none other than the Matriarch. Also, strangely out of prison. And back to her old tricks, I guess. I need to start writing these things down. My first chapter was actually written down, I think, and it didn't take that long, so I think I'm going to write story arcs next time. So Legacy has 2 bolster allies, a danger sense, and a Thok. Expatriette has an assault rifle, incendiary rounds, quick draw, and unload. Wraith brought with her razor ordnance, combat stance, infrared eyepiece, and throwing knives. Sorry, I read that one out of order. Tachyon, fleet of foot, HUD goggles, nimble strike, and quick insight. Let's see what the Matriarch brings to the table today. Of course, her mask. She doesn't leave home without it. And here, representing the birds that attacked our heroes as they entered the city. 3 kettles of vultures, a carrion fields, clattering, and 2 clattering of jackdaws? What does that say? Whoops, okay. Legacy shouts to encourage his teammates. Although he does not have any burgers left with him, you can still see a trace of ketchup on his uniform. Hello, dragon. Summation. realizing that a submachine gun is better for taking out multiple targets. Expatriette takes aim. This is gonna get interesting. Ketchup, mayonnaise, and blueberries. Agreed, Evil Dice Monkey. I mean, ketchup, mayonnaise, and blue... That sounds like the most horrible, like, cocktail ever. I'll take 2 damage. Expatriette wrestles with her gun as the birds try to take it away from her, and realizes that it won't do any good. Oh, that carrying field's a problem. We are taking a pounding from... Alright, you know what? The submachine gun's going away. Okay, quick draw. That seems good. Well, I mean, blue cheese is mold, JZC. So, strawberry, yeah, strawberry, vanilla, and blueberry. Like, that seems good. Thank you, Real Fan of Fanatic. Wraith begins by deploying Razor Ordnance, taking aim at the carrion field, and beginning to wear it down. In a blast of blazing speed, Tachyon takes aim at everything. Oops. No, whatever. And neutralizes it in a fast-paced circle. The skies grow dark. Darker than they already were, anyway. And the birds that were seemingly dead all come back to life. Strange green ooze, similar to that which was plaguing Setback when we first found him, begins to slip from under the sewer lid. In an attempt to get out of the way, our heroes all slip and fall, and are damaged by the ooze. Yeah, the ooze smells strangely of moldy cheese. This is not looking good right off the bat. Oh my goodness. Talk about horrid bad luck. As soon as you enter a city and you get just flooded by evil crows. Sensing that his allies were in danger. Oop, come on, there we go. Legacy takes aim at the Carrion Fields and punches it with all his might. Encouraging his allies to do the same, in hopes, desperately, that they can clear the skies and find a way through to whatever was controlling all of the birds. Pausing for a moment to draw her favorite weapons. Expatriette searches for pride and prejudice. Yes, Rook City streets are crowded. Our heroes begin to sense that something was up. There's no way that Matriarch could have known they were coming. She must have been sent by someone else. Wraith slips into the shadows and equips and gets ready for the next punch. She takes aim with her Razor Ordnance, targeting once again the Carrion Fields that were causing them so much trouble. Hoping against hope that one of her allies could deal damage to all these crows. Dashing about, Tachyon looked for something that might get them out of this mess. Alas, it was looking grim. But running fast enough, she was able to heat up the sewer lid and seal it to where it was allowing toxic sludge to escape. And Sucker Punch isn't bad. That's actually not a bad question, Lord Flashfire. I'm gonna go with, just since that is actually a story question, I'm gonna go with he's just an arrogant fool. But we will tackle that. I have written down in my book here, one of the ones we're gonna take on is actually a spin on the Maltese Falcon, the old film noir movie. And I have a friend who's very, very into film noir. He's actually my partner on the Adjacent Hex podcast, Doug, and I'm hoping to get him as a special guest for that particular stream. And of course, some special guests that I have will be calling in on Skype. Others will actually be here live in studio. Another letdown, we have access to a fair amount of studio equipment. So I'm, obviously my first priority is to fix things like the lag and the video quality. I honestly don't know what's up with that. It's really frustrating me that that's a problem. But once I do, we will get some cool fancy stuff going with this stream, such as getting people in studio and potentially making the set behind me look more like a studio, even in terms of maybe going full screen with the game window and actually sort of green screening us over the top of it, which would be really cool. Anyway, second lowest hit points. Well, well, I guess that's going to be a bird. Sure. Murder of Crows it is. Oh, well, okay, so much for Expatriette having Pride and Prejudice. Rook City is mine. Now I want the Enclave of the Endlings. Bring it on, guys. Wow, this is not pleasant. This is just ugly as ugly can get. But that's okay. This is actually okay, because this actually, like, this chapter is a particularly intermediary chapter where, like, what happens doesn't actually impact what the heroes are going to see next, which is kind of cool. It's sort of like this plot thread only goes to, like, it's only one direction. Win or lose, it's the same thing happens. Wow, the highest hit points is 2 and dead. This is just ugly. Well, we'll definitely get 4 games in here tonight, folks. I didn't call anybody ugly. The situation's ugly. Which I suppose is fitting. I posted this online earlier. My friends and I have been playing a monthly Arkham horror game, which actually is also something we're going to tackle on Tales from the Archive. Sorry, Tales from the Archive. My friend Alex is going to come help me with that one. I'm calling that one Whatever Happened to Joey Diamond, and you will have to tune in coming up soon to see what happens there. So that's going to be cool. In a last-ditch effort, Legacy feebly reaches out with a punch and lands it for a tiny amount of damage. Oh wait, that was silly. Oh wait, Wraith's still alive. Okay. Wraith, leaning against a wall, manages to wing a Razor Ordnance at the biggest of the crows. And while it deals some, it was not as successful as she hoped it would be. Hoping that she would get another shot, she readies some throwing knives, and once again throws the Razor Ordnance, targeting that same big bird that she managed to keep her eye on. Seeing what his counterpart is doing, Legacy also managed to reach out and punch that irritatingly large bird, seeing that it might have some impact on their fate. Oh Lord. Oh my gosh. Another. Well, here we are, folks. And Legacy's done too. Being the last one standing, Wraith slips around a corner, only to find herself face to face with yet one more crow, and falls into blackness and darkness as the crows overtake her. Our heroes come to as a strange man in a hat pulled low over his face tends to them in what appears to be a car garage. It's none other than the same person that Expatriette was sent to kill years before. Or months before. Months before? I don't know. I don't actually know the timeline on that one. Yeah, well. I mean, one in particular had to do her in, right? You're too late, grumbles Mr. Fixer. He's already come and done us in. He's already come and scheduled the end of the city. Expatriette rubs her one remaining good eye and says, "You again?" Mr. Fixer continues sweeping up his shop and insists that they leave as quickly as possible if they want to be successful. Legacy, looking as strong as he had just after he'd eaten his legacy burgers, puts his hands on his hips and says, "Where are we going?" Mr. Fixer adjusts his hat and said, "I thought you would have known that by now. This is the chairman, up to his old tricks. One day, he will bring about the end of Rook City as we know it." Wraith sat up at that point and said, and fiddling with her utility belt said, "I thought Rook City was already doomed." Mr. Fixer adjusts his belt and says, "Nothing's beyond saving, miss, if you know where to look." He leads them out into the streets. Looking around, it was still dark, but somehow they knew they weren't going back to when they had entered the city. "The chairman spends a lot of his time around his industrial complex," says Mr. Fixer, grumpily. "I know we can find him there." So the last chapter takes our heroes to Pike Industrial Complex. And they know that bad things await them. But carry on they will. So for the last chapter of every Tales from the Archive stream, especially if we're doing poorly, I am actually going to try and make the right plays, but I will still try to. Oh, here goes the song again, or the noise. What is up with this? So, of course, this is going to be a particularly rude game, I imagine. And we'll see what happens. Oh, hold on. Oh my gosh. This just starts out badly for our heroes. All right. John, what's going on with my sound? I'm just gonna whine at him instead, Evil Dice Monkey. Alright, Fixer. I'm actually gonna skip playing a card here. Feeling the power of Legacy's inspiring presence. Oops, there we go. Mr. Fixer takes aim at the informant. Yes, I agree. Cheese and wine. That vat is so annoying. It's gonna... oh, okay. Mega computer is a thing that would help. Wraith hacks into the chairman's... the nearest computer, powering Pike Industrial, and aims a Razor Ordnance directly at the operative. Tachyon, in a blaze of speed, finds a way to take down the broker. But meanwhile, the operative is in a head-to-head battle with Mr. Fixer, and there's nothing Tachyon can do to stop it. Will this game last 2 hours? I certainly hope not, Android. I mean, I'm okay with it if it does. Oh, right. Yay, vat that does nothing because of Mega Computer. Why did it... oh, okay. I'm gonna go ahead and... although looking innocuous, a strange vat of solvent sits bubbling away in the corner of the lab, or the corner of the sewers. Another underboss appears on the scene. This time it's the fence and the contract. As well as a thief, fresh in from Rook City, and a hired gun. Thugs, great. The last thing we need, says Expatriette haughtily. Oops. Oh. As the thugs take out Wraith's mega computer, blasting a hole right through it. Maya curses at under her breath as the hired gun takes aim and shoots at the heroes in rapid succession. Fear not, says Legacy, and holds up a fist to attempt to mitigate the strange mists oozing from the vat. Mr. Fixer looks around and finds a jack handle lying on the ground. He picks it up and attempts to attack the nearest target. It happens to be a lab rat. Then he turns it on the hired gun. Meanwhile, the operative takes a swing with her sword at Expatriette. But Mr. Fixer continues his onslaught, aiming the jackhandle at a thief, as the operative swings at Legacy, and the contract, the fence, and then brings the jackhandle around on the operative herself. I know this is going to hurt a bit, says Expatriette as she takes aim at the underbosses still lurking around their chairman. But it's well worth it. Wraith rolls her eyes and then takes aim once again with her trusty razor ordnance. Seeing an opening, Tachyon quickly runs up behind the contract and sucker punches him. Just ugh, there goes the sound again. Sorry. I'm really not sure. Like, that's really frustrating that that's doing that. I could try to hold on 1 second, guys. I'm gonna restart the game one last time. I mean, I guess that's up to you, Evil Dice Monkey. I'm not sure why, but like my app has had to re-download every time I've launched it for the last week and a half. It's kind of irritating. Yes, the strange ambient music cuts out because of acid corrosion. But then flickers back into being. As we return. Right where we left off. I don't know, Evil Dice Monkey. I haven't, like, deliberately turned it on or anything. Is it on by default? The vat begins bubbling again, and our heroes begin to feel the effects of it. They're still not sure what it is. Now, says Mr. Fixer, as Chairman Graham Pike reveals himself from behind the nearest wall. Expatriette's reflexes train her nearest gun on the three underbosses that came into play. Or that came back into the fray. The fray. There we go. That's what I was looking for. My gosh. It's a good thing Expatriette has hair trigger reflexes. Although, the operative is not helping anything at all. Oh my gosh. Gosh, he's like playing everything. He's throwing everything at them just to try and keep himself alive. Although I honestly don't see it being that much of a deal at this point. Everybody's in a pretty rough way. Hard drive doesn't count. Dear gosh. That is causing huge problems. Expatriette's gonna have to take that out. Well, our heroes seem to have gotten a little cocky today. Mr. Fixer slumps into a pile on the floor, encouraging his fellow heroes to avenge him. Things are not looking good for our heroes this day. There is yet a chance, but I doubt this is going to happen. We shall see. Oh. X-Files in the medical sense. Oh dear. Marvelous, my mouse battery dies. Which I should really predict, because it's basically always dying. Oh dear. This is gonna be ugly. Oh, baby. Oh, no. Oh, no, 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 no. Oh. No, 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 no. Ugh. Yeah, so here we go. Oh my goodness. And here we go. There is death to the heroes. Our heroes slump to the floor, weak, battered and broken. Chairman Pike skulks back into the corners and says, "Foolish heroes. It was silly for you to take me on." Legacy, broken and defeated, is the last to close his eyes as the rats overtake his body and start chewing on his costume. The heroes were not lucky this day. So I really didn't prepare anything beyond... I figured that would take a lot longer than it did. Anybody have any suggestions as to how to follow this up? It's not so much an obituary as just a failure. I'm honestly not sure how to follow this up. Like, I mean, I kind of expected the chairman to win that, but like, I didn't expect to be there that quickly. I mean, well, that's the title, Hankroyd. Like, crime doesn't pay much implies that I predicted that the chairman would win. That could be okay. All right. Okay. Yes. No. I like that. All right. Let's do that. Epilogue chapter. Our heroes awaken in a strange and different environment. It's cold here. Although Legacy's costume, still white, is crusted with snow and some ice. Tachyon rubs her eyes and brushes something strange and red out of her hair. Wraith notices that much of her tech is not working as it once had. Mr. Fixer makes note that he's... Oh, wait. Mr. Fixer is not the same man as he once was. While he was grumpy before, he seems legitimately angry at this moment. As they step out into the cold, they notice that they are not alone. Hunting high in these mountains is none other than the villain known as Ambuscade. Although his voice is not as powerful as it once was, Legacy summons the heroes to their feet once again and calls them into battle. Thank you, Evil Dice Monkey, for this suggestion. It's a good way to end it off. 5 games in one stream. Look at us go. 3 of which are losses, of course. I think that's one of the things that makes me not the best at this game is I'm very impulsive, and a shot rings out and glances off of Legacy's shoulder. "What the?" he says. Suddenly, an explosive goes off and knocks everyone off their feet. Not the best, Lewd Dolphin. We've had a fair amount of technical difficulty, and I've lost 3 out of 4. I did not anticipate on having to bring the Freedom 5 in. Yes, they were all story-driven. What's FTFY? Anyway. An explosion goes off and knocks the heroes from off their feet. They quickly recover. Legacy returns and smashes Ambuscade in the mask. Oh, thank you. Real fan of Fanatic. Yes, that is correct. They are story-driven narratives, and yes, well, so Lewd Dolphin, I also did not expect to go. We are 5 games deep now, and so this is sort of the epilogue chapter. Building speed faster than she was before, Tachyon manages to neutralize all of the weapons Ambuscade has brought to bear, including his irritating sonic mine, or ever irritating sonic mine. Wraith finds that her computer starts to work, although not useful yet, until she finds something to throw. Grunting to himself, Mr. Fixer takes 2 crowbars off the wall, well, hold on. Which one? Here we go. Yes, this one seems more... Takes a pipe wrench off the wall, and I'm going purely on card art here. And bashes Ambuscade in the neck with it. It breaks and falls to the floor with a clatter. Again, I apologize about that, Lewd Dolphin. I was going to say something, and then I was like, oh, maybe that's intentional. Maybe John just doesn't have video today. Or something. I feel bad, man. Go for it, heroes! Their leader says, and punches the Ambuscade as he attempts to sneak up behind. Picking up speed, Tachyon once again tries to neutralize the weaponry Ambuscade has brought to bear. Coming from what seems to be all over the room, the heroes here, well, we seem to be whittling it down. Spoken very, very quickly, as they can barely understand. Wraith manages to find some stun bolts banging around the temple that they've awoken in. And throws them in the general direction. Oops. Oh, that I misclicked. I do that a lot. Sorry, folks. And manages to wing one in Ambuscade's general direction. She catches him in the knee, and he stumbles about for a moment. Fixer grumbles again. And adopts what appears to be a position equivocable to a mantis. The heroes are unfamiliar with this, but Fixer aims a punch at Ambuscade. Wraith drops her stun bolts in surprise. Fixer only appears to be more and more angry. Oh, goodness. There's a dragon in the room, folks. Suddenly, without warning, a dragon appears. It's the master of the temple, and he appears to not be happy with our heroes. This is interesting. More and more ceremonies begin, and apprentices arrive, eager to assist their master. Oops. What? Oh. Oh, whatever. The students notice intruders, people who do not belong, and lash out with all manner of technique. Wraith seizes the opportunity to dig deeper into her arsenal of tricks. Well, the chairman fight went really well and then really took a turn. There was, like, a negligible chance of actually pulling it out, and the heroes fell rather quickly. Once Mr. Fixer dropped, it seemed as though he was leading the team in that fight, and they all passed out and awoke in the Temple of Zhulong. Legacy pushes his way to the front and says, "I'll take them all on. Everybody stand aside and do what you can to defeat this evil. For justice!" In a surprisingly fast race of speed, Tachyon blazes around the room, and suddenly, the dragon disappears. She said, "I thought I could do that!" Legacy looks impressed. Wraith once again rolls her eyes. Who's Justin? Picking up her broken stun bolt from the floor, Wraith manages quick repairs, and once again targets Ambuscade with it. Oops. "He's almost done," says Legacy. Take him out, heroes!" Ah, yes, of course, Justin. Yes, Sorry, spaced for a moment there. Picking up crowbar, what looks to be a crowbar. Yes, she is absolutely the Iron Fist. Danny Rand would be proud. Fixer lashes out with both crowbars at once and hammers hard on everything in sight. The heroes, unfortunately, lash out, get damaged in the crossfire as the student unleashes a hail of strange mystical toxins. Actually, I think I may have an Iron Fist joke in hand, JZC. The heroes begin to understand what has happened to them. Rites of revival, grumbles Mr. Fixer. I've heard of these once before. Tachyon pauses for a moment and says, "Wait, you can still talk?" And then picks up speed once again. Irritated, the Dragon Master returns, and Tachyon goes, "I knew that was too good to be true." The dragon glowers at her, and the Master's first attack is leveled directly in Tachyon's direction. Well, it comes back, Evil Dice Monkey. Mr. Fixer says, "Stand aside!" and takes the brunt of the Master Dragon's blow. Ambuscade silently reaches for his custom hand cannon once again and levels it in Legacy's direction. He takes one shot at Legacy and then turns a shot on Wraith. Legacy takes to the sky briefly, and then slams down in time to intercept a glancing blow. He says, "We can do it, heroes! He's almost down!" Legacy smashes Ambuscade into a wall and says, "Get him, heroes!" Tachyon, running as fast as she possibly can. Distracted only momentarily by the dragon, unleashes her signature lightspeed barrage in the exact direction of Legacy, holding Ambuscade down. She says, "I think I got this," and pounds Ambuscade with all she's worth. He slumps to the ground. Our heroes escape the Temple of Julong with but a scratch. But still, there is a dragon. Without warning, a portal opens and sends our heroes back to where they came from. Back in time to before the chairman broke Plague Rat and Matriarch out of prison. The heroes awaken where they started. With... well, she wasted too much of it on the dragon. With memory of what had happened, but confused and prepared to do it all again. I should have apologized to Tachyon. Sorry, Tachyon. So I think that's actually going to do it for Tales from the Archive today. I know I'm like 3 minutes short of 9 o'clock here. But, you know, with the technical difficulties and whatnot, I think it's probably time to call it. So for those who have missed it or came in late, I've been keeping this notebook, here it is, of ideas for potential stories. So I'm going to go ahead and cross off Crime Doesn't Pay Much. And so someone asked earlier, you know, how the heroes sort of got out of it. And actually, I think this battle at the Temple of Julong actually is a pretty good way to deal with it. The portal sending them back in time. There is I guess there is actually there could be another story, but I'm not going to tell it, of them traveling through the portal. But they make it back safely to Megalopolis in most cases, and Rook City in the case of Mr. Fixer. Legacy finds himself back behind his grill, cooking burgers once again for his friends. Maya Montgomery finds herself once again in her office, hearing Setback causing problems downstairs, or tripping over something. And Tachyon is, of course, running all about her lab, trying to build some new tech for a variety of people. She's being particularly harried by Unity. Lord Flashfire, I'm really happy to hear that. I also am really enjoying the letters page. As you saw, Lube Dolphin arrived late. I will try and be in the chat for as many of his streams as possible. Thursday's also date night with my fiance, so it's difficult often for me to be there. But you'll find me in the chat on the Sentinels live streams as much as I can. Like I said, as much as I can. So I really hope that you guys enjoyed tonight's broadcast of Tales from the Archive on Handelabra Games. If you liked what you saw, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and share our channel, both on social media and in person. You can follow Handelabra on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube as well. And you can, of course, catch them here on Twitch at twitch.tv/Handelabra Games. If you want to see more content from me, including the Adjacent Hex podcast and the occasional sketch comedy video, I do have new storylines coming. Facebook.com/Another Letdown. Give us a like is the place to be for that. If you have story submissions, and I am happy to take them, I will happily write them down in my handy-dandy Batman book. Am I allowed to say Batman? Hit me up on Twitter. My name is @DENONCZD. I also do live streams of other video games, primarily Gears of War, but we're looking to add new content. We're actually waiting on a game right now that we're very excited about, and we're going to be streaming. But on my team's channel, that's twitch.tv/Another Letdown. Sentinels of the Multiverse is currently available for iOS, Android, and PC, Mac, and Linux via Steam, and always in good old-fashioned, wait for it, cardboard and ink. You can get the game and more info, yes, Wraith knockoff book, at sentinelsdigital.com. As always, thank you so very much for tuning in, and I will see you next week.